So you know that the work measurement uh, is important in number of ways. Like it helps in identifying the ineffective time. So the area where method study is to be done can be identified. It, likewise, it also helps in number of ways, like setting the standard time or comparing the different methods and their feasibility. So, work sampling was one of the techniques about which we have talked. Then time study is the another method. Standard data method is the third method, and fourth one is the PMTS or predetermined motion time study method. So I will be talking in detail about the standard data method and the time study method. So let's see first about the time study method of the work measurement. So as I have said, this is a work measurement technique used for, this is a technique used for recording the time and rating the workers for each element of the job. Of course, under a given working conditions, because if the working conditions change, the time required may change. So under given working conditions, and this is done so as to one, analyze the method which is being studied, analyze the job using the data developed. This is one. And the second one is to see that set the standard time for carrying out the job. So it records. So how do we arrive at these? Means for these things, it records the time and also rates the performance of worker for the different elements of a job. You see, the job is broken into the number of elements in different ways. We'll talk about how to break the job into the elements later, but the job is broken into the number of elements, and then it is, each element is timed and the worker's performance is rated under the actual given set of the working conditions. And when it is done, we are in better position to analyze the job, what are the productive, what are non-productive things, whether the allowances are being given appropriately or they are excess or they are less. So analysis of the job using the data helps in setting the things in more appropriate manner. Okay, so or also helps to eliminate the ineffective or undesirable elements from the job. So that's how it also helps in improving the method, or also helps in identifying if there are few redundant elements or foreign elements which are actually not there in standard method. When this study is done, we are able to set the standard the time for carrying out the job. So this is the broadly you can say the definition of the time study, and how it is done, and what do we need for time study. So items or the different things needed for the time study. There are two types of the things which are needed, like when it is done at the site or the shop floor, we need the stopwatch. This is one thing. Then we need a study board over which the study sheet or observation sheet is fixed, and then we need the suitably designed study form wherein the data will be recorded. Okay, apart from this, for the analysis and for collection of other data, we also need the things like a good clock or hand watch. This is other than the stopwatch. We need the calculators, and then measuring instruments, like say in case of the distance to be traveled or the dimensions to be measured. Measuring instruments like there can be tape or steel rule, then there can be micro meter or balance or tachometer, vernier caliper, and likewise other measuring instruments as per the need, where the time study is being done to see under what conditions work is being done. Okay, or if the conditions of work are little different from what is mentioned in the standard method. Out of these, we will be talking about these three things in little detail. Mainly two things little in detail. One is the stopwatch, which are used in the time study method, and the study form. Study board is a rather very simple thing. It's nothing, just a kind of board where you can fit in or put in the study sheet, and also you can put in the stopwatch on the study board, so that you can record the things effectively. So we'll be talking about these two things, stopwatch and study form, in little detail. So if we see the stopwatch, there are different variants of the stopwatches. Nowadays these may be the digital watches as well, with the high degree of the accuracy, but conventionally what has been used for quantifying the time in time study, there are three types of the stopwatches which are used in the time study. One is the flyback type of the stopwatch. The second is non-flyback type, and the third is the split hand type of the stopwatch. Okay, out of these three, the first two are the most common, as well as those are popular because of the simplicity. Okay, so now we'll see these stopwatches, whether it is flyback. What is flyback and non-flyback? I'll talk little here. So in case of the flyback type, like say this is the stopwatch, so there is one knob. There are two knobs in the, say, flyback type stopwatch. There are two knobs, one you can say A and B. So this we slide left and right, and this is pressed. Knob B is pressed. So the A knob is used, like say if you want to start, then it will be slide in the clockwise, and if you want to stop, then it will be slide or pushed in the anti-clockwise direction. So start and stop is done through the knob A. Okay, so when the stopwatch, it is required that activity has started, so you start the stopwatch and then stop. Here knob B is just for the resetting or fly back to the 0 setting. So for 0 setting, wherever the different needles of the stopwatch are there, they will be set to the 0 level when the knob B is pressed. So and clock or anti-clockwise movement just to start and stop, and the pressing of the knob B is used for resetting or flying back the needles to the 0 level. So this is one which is used for this is used in 2 ways. Like say on the timing approach, I will come little later. Like the time study is done using the 2 types of the timing methods. One is called fly back timing, okay, and the second is called cumulative timing method. So I'll talk about both these methods little later, how the timing is done. Just see the stopwatch at this movement, and then in non-flyback timing, the another watch is the non-flyback timing. In non-flyback timing, non-flyback type of the stopwatch, it will have just one knob like this, okay, and here you will see there will be the 2 graduations like this, and likewise here also like the 2 graduations, 2 scales in the flyback also. So the scales, there are 2 scales in each type of the stopwatch, that is fine. So but as far as knob is concerned, in non-flyback there is just one knob, okay. So press once, the stopwatch will start, press 2, the stopwatch will stop, and press 3, it will reset. It will reset to the 0 level type. So I was saying there is just one knob. So when you press the knob first time, the stopwatch, non-flyback type of the stopwatch, it starts. Then when press it second time, the stopwatch will stop, and when the same knob is pressed third time, say it will reset to the 0 level. So all the timings will be all the hands, and whether it is the minute or the second or the hours or the small scale or the large scale, the hands, they will be set to the 0 level. So these are the 2 stopwatches, 2 types of stopwatches. So what we do in case of the timing method, like fly back timing, let us talk about the how do we time. So in the fly back timing, like say a job has been broken into the 4 elements, element 1, 2, 3, 4. So each element will be timed separately using the flyback timing method. In flyback timing method, say stopwatch is started from the 0, and then it will for element 1 it will be timed say for 12 seconds. Then we set again the stopwatch is started, then stopped, and then you press it, the reset button, so again it comes back to the 0 level. Then element 2 is timed, again the stopwatch is started, and then it is stopped once the element is completed. So say this is 15, again you start. So again every time each element is timed from the the timing is started from the 0, and then it will be allowed to continue until that particular element is completed. Okay, so like this, say 18, okay, 0 to 20. So 4 different elements, every time the stopwatch is reset and the time is started. So every time all the hands will be reset to the 0. This is what is called flyback timing, and in this case we directly get the value of time a particular element is taking. Like say these are the time values of each element, so we get the direct value of the time each element is taking. In case of the cumulative timing method, we don't reset the stopwatch. Once the job is started, element 1 is started, the stopwatch will be started, and then stopwatch will continue until the timing of all these elements is done. So say for first 12, first element is completed after 12, then a stopwatch will continue, and when the element second completes, say the time is 27. When the element third completes, then say the time is 45. When fourth element completes, the time is say 65. So stopwatch will continue in cumulative timing method until all the elements are completed. Okay, so you will just keep on noting down when the element, what is the time of the stopwatch when the element, particular element is getting completed, and then we use the subtraction method to find out the time for each element. So using the subtraction approach, the time for each element is identified in cumulative timing method. But you know, when the job is continuously done, there is no time to reset the watch, and in this process, in the flyback timing method, this is not very popular method, because every time you have to set it to the 0 level, and in this process some time of the job will be lost, which will not be quantified. So actually, if you see here, in this continuous method, there is no possibility for loss of any time, and what you may find, like if according to the flyback timing method it is 65, but in cumulative timing method the first one is fine, next you may find 29, then here you may find 48, and here you may find 70. So what it suggests, when the cumulative timing method is applied, you will see that some of the time is lost in resetting and restart for each element. So that time, loss of time will not be there in case of the cumulative timing method. So the time taken by each element in complete the job, for completing the job, that is say 70 seconds instead of 65. This is the actual time when the job is done continuously. This is the time which it takes. But when the flyback timing method is used, we will see that some of the seconds have lost in the process of this flyback timing approach. Okay, so the workers most of the time prefer the cumulative timing method, because once the stopwatch is started, the time will be counted until the job is completed or the different elements of the job are completed. Okay, so this is about the flyback timing and the cumulative timing. Cumulative timing, we get the total time as well as the time for each element without flyback kind of thing, while in case of flyback timing method, we get the directly time value for each element. But in this case, there is always possibility for the loss of some of the time is getting lost in the flyback kind of thing which is there. So this is about your the timing approaches which are used in the time study. method. I'll talk little bit the kind of the skills which are there in the study watches, time study watches or stop watches. So there are basically the three types of the watches. There are three types of stop watches. So the one type, one is stopwatch, as I have said, in each type of stopwatch there will be two scales like this. Okay, and this is the smaller scale. So large hand and small hand, you can say like this, large hand and the small hand. So this shows the complete higher or the larger scale value. Say here it may be like, say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 and 30, right? So what this 30 shows, the 30 minutes. Okay, so there are two types of the stopwatches where the maximum time which can be quantified is for each element is 30 minutes. Okay, and the large hand shows the different things as per the stopwatch. So what I will say, the one type of the scale or the graduation which is found in the stopwatch is that the small scale shows the one complete round shows the 30 minutes. Okay, and the large hand or the large scale, so one round of the large hand, one complete round or 360, one complete revolution of the large hand, what it shows, one revolution of large hand, what it shows, this shows there are different types of the stopwatches. One shows the 30-minute, least count is 1/5. Okay, so one complete revolution shows the 1 minute, and the least count of this type of the watch is 1/5 of a second. Okay, there is another type of the graduation in the stopwatch, which is like, say the small scale, like as I have said in this one, small scale, one complete revolution of the short hand in a small scale again shows the 30 minutes, but one complete revolution of the large hand in the large scale, it shows the one revolution of the large hand, it shows the 1/100th of a minute. So this is the another scale, and there is a third type of scale, so you can say it as a B type of the graduation or the scaling, and the C type of the graduation or scaling in the stopwatch is of decimal type, wherein like, say one revolution of the small hand, one revolution, so complete scale duration is 1 hour. So one revolution shows the 1/100th of an hour, and then the complete one revolution shows the, this is 1 hour. One revolution of the small hand shows the 1 hour, and the least count of the large hand, least count of the large hand, it shows the 1 10,000 of an hour. Okay, so the small scale, one complete revolution shows the 1 hour, and the least count of this small scale is 1/100th of an hour, and the least count of the large scale is 10,000th of an hour. So these are the three different types of the graduations or scales in the stop watches. Okay, now we'll come to the little other details related with the study board and the study forms. Okay, so I'll show you the slides because this is a completely simpler thing, so you get it clearly here. So the time study equipment, as I said, the timing device, study board, study observation sheet, and study observation board. So these are the kind of stopwatches. As I said, this is the knob about which I was talking, knob A, and this is a knob B, which is simply pressed. Okay, this is the non-flyback type of the stopwatch. So as I was saying, there are different types of the graduations. So this, the small graduation, what it shows, the 30 minutes, and the large one here, that will be showing the like kind of it is 6. So this is 30 minutes, and then one complete revolution is 1 minute. Actually, this is 1 minute. So you can say, so least count is 1 second kind of thing. So there are different types of the watches which are used, different. So here this is the digital kind of the stopwatch. So nowadays mostly you will see the digital stopwatches, even in mobile phones these kind of things are there. Coming to this the study form, there this is the typical, this is the board only, you can say study board is this one, wherein the study form is pasted, and there is a provision to hold or the accommodate the stopwatch. And in the observation sheet you will see the different details like operation which is being studied, the part name or the object, the operator or the machine name or the operator name, that the experience on the job of the operator, the work study man or the time study man. So these are the different details, and then there are different forms, there are different designs of the forms. So this is one typical form, like element 1, 2, 3, 4, like this, different elements, and then this is about the rating, speed of the doing work. Okay, then the time being taken to complete these elements. So when it is started, when it is ended, that is another thing which is mentioned, like when it is started, when it is finished, the time elapsed in doing this study. So like this the details are mentioned, and here the time for each element, say element 1, for this element 1 is being timed, say in this particular case, say 10 times, 1, 2, 3, like this. Okay, up to 10 times. And then what we do, this kind of the timing, this kind of the observation or time study is done when the job is of very short cycle, like say just 5 seconds or 6 seconds is the cycle time of the of that particular element. So as per the requirement of the desired confidence level and the accuracy desired, different number of observations to be carried out, that is identified, and each element is timed for those number of times, and then we determine the average time, and then average time determined, average time is multiplied with the performance rating to get the basic time or normal time. Okay, so this is how it is done, but this kind of form is more for the what you say, short cycled job. So here you can see the average rating, all elements are rated, normal time, then personal allowances are added to get the standard time. So about this I'll talk a little later also. Okay, there is another kind of thing also. So there is another kind of the study sheet or observation sheet wherein what we mention basically there can be number of designs, like say when the time required to complete the each element is a little longer. In that case, see element 1. So what we do, observe time is observed, then the rating of the performance rating, and then normal time is determined, and then allowances are added, identified, and then based on that standard time is identified. So there are different possibilities now. For each element observed time is identified. Say in this case there are 3 elements, so observed time for these 3 elements is obtained. Okay, and then if say element 2 is done not by man but it is done by machine, so it will have only the observed time, because when machine works it is automatic, so there is no performance rating. In that case performance rating is considered to be 100%, so there is no rating as such. But the jobs or elements which are done by the worker himself, in that case performance rating is given. It may be 80%, it may be 90%. So as per the rating, so each element is rated for the speed or the way by which worker is doing the job, from as compared to the standard of performance to do the job by the work studyman or time studyman, and observed time into the performance rating gives us the normal time, and when it is added with the allowances it gives us, so allowances are identified maybe 5%, 10% as per the policy. This in total gives us the standard time. So here the normal time can be identified differently for the different elements. There is a possibility if the job is done in very hostile conditions or the job is done in very convenient conditions, then accordingly the allowances can be given, different allowances can be given to the different elements. Okay, so there are 2 things. One is if the job is being done for a particular, if a particular element is being done manually, or if the element being done is heavy or simple, it requires more time, it causes more fatigue, then accordingly the different allowances may be given. So each element may require different treatments with regard to the allowances and with regard to the performance rating when the time study is conducted. So it is important that the job is broken into the different elements so that you have more rationalized approach for quantifying the time. Okay, so now this is how another form can be designed. I'll tell you one more simpler form, like say element. Here we can write simply elements and then observation time or observation number. So it can be like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1. Then say the 7 number of observations are to be done for different elements depending upon the time required, the different number of observations may be needed. That is another thing. So the total observed time is obtained, then average observed time is obtained, and then the performance rating is mentioned against that, and these two, average observed time and performance rating, these two are used to identify the normal time, and then we can add the allowances to find out the standard time related to that particular element. So depending upon the kind of the job and the element size, the time study form is designed in different ways. Okay, now coming back to the another step, so these are, like, say, the requirement of the different things for conducting the time study. Okay, now the first step in conducting the time study is to select the job. Which kind of the job can be selected for time study? So the first thing first, like the new job or completely new method has been developed. So for that, time standard has to be set. So let us do the time study so that time standard for new job or the new method can be developed. Or recently there has been a change in the material which was being used, or change in method. So if the method has been altered, or some of the things related with the existing methods have been altered, so again we need the new timing for setting the standard. Okay, third is, like, there is a complaint from the workers, like the time is very tight, means the time is too short to do or complete the job. So workers, if the workers are complaining about the time standard or tight time standard, then again time study can be done to see really if what they are saying and there is any validity in their claim. Then time study can also be done in those operations which are acting as bottleneck operations. So the jobs which are being considered or considered to be taking excessively longer time, they may be considered as a potential cases for the time study to see what is wrong with them, why they are taking longer time. It is also possible, like the time study may be required to launch or to implement the incentive schemes, like those who are per day producing 100 units plus, they will be given the additional benefit in this or that form. Okay, then there is also like one big machine is having a very low output. Okay, so very low output or the low production rate. Costly machine is giving very low production rate, so that is another possible case. Then few machines are having very excessively longer idle time. So what is leading to the longer idle time? You want to compare, like, the feasibility of different methods, comparative study of different options for doing the job. So if that feasibility of the different methods is to be studied, then also time study can be done. Or if you want to identify, like, a quick study or preliminary study for conducting the method study, what are the areas where method study can be done? If that is to be identified, then also time study can be done. And the jobs are very costly, like the producing certain things, the manufacturing of certain things is cost of manufacturing is too high. So you can say excessive cost of certain jobs. So you need to look into, you need to analyze what is wrong with that. So if that is the case, then also time study can be done to see really if something can be done in order to deal with this situation. Okay, now coming to the procedure related with the time study procedure of the time study involves that determine the purpose. Like as I have said, the time study can be conducted in the previous slide. What I talked about, like it can be done for the different to realize the different purposes. So while determining the procedure for time study, it is important to see what is the purpose of the time study, whether it's just a change of the material or method or complaint from the workers, or it is bottleneck, incentive plan. So as per the case, the suitable the focus is given in different ways according to the objective. Okay, so identify the objective of study. This is an important thing. Then procedurally also of depending upon the case, what if it is idea is just to set the time standard. Sir, I am in lecture actually. Sure. So if idea is to set the time standard, then we need to be very careful, like what is the kind of the precision desired or accuracy desired or allowed error. Okay, what is the confidence level desired in the data, and that these things will affect the number of observations which need to be taken for each element depending upon its size. Okay, then so this is the first thing, objective of the study, the kind of precision or accuracy desired or the confidence level desired. The next is verify the method to be studied. Now how will be verifying the method? Like you will be what are the different elements related with a particular job, compare it with the original method, or if there is any alteration or the modification in the method which has been which is to be studied. So this is not just this, like all the relevant details related with which can affect the time required to complete the job. So all procedural details like the experience of worker, the worker conditions, then there can be the tools, parameters, anything that can affect the time to complete a particular element has to be checked to see if it is the part of the original method or not. Okay, then third is select the worker who is to be studied. So as I said, it should be so there are certain factors to be kept in mind. Worker should not be very smart, so that if extremely good worker is considered for a study, then what will happen? He will take very less time and others will suffer. Or he should not also be very slow worker, because this will otherwise will be leading to the very loose standard time and the company will be at the loss. So that is why average worker who is a representative or who represents the entire lot of the workers with regard to the speed, capability, experience, etc. Okay, neither slow nor too fast as far as the working is concerned. So the selection of the worker for time study is very crucial. So we'll talk about the qualified workers and the average workers and how it is done, and then develop the suitable recording or observation sheets. Design the suitable recording and observation sheets, and then break the job into the elements. Breaking the job into the elements. So there are certain rules, guidelines, and different types of the elements. So those are used as a broader idea or broader guideline to see how the job can be broken into the different number of elements depending upon the size of the elements with regard to the time it will take. Also determine the number of observations to be taken for time study, so that we have the desired confidence level and the precision in our observations. Okay, then the last 2 points, they are about just collect the data about the time it is taking, and also do the performance rating of the worker during the job. Okay, and these two are used. So observed time for each element and the performance rating of the worker, these two are used to determine the normal time, or this is also called basic time. And when the normal time or the basic time is added with the allowances, we get the standard time. Okay, so this is how the standard time using the time study is obtained. These are the procedural steps. In the next lecture I will talk about the breaking of the job into the different elements and the other steps associated with the this time study method. Okay, so that's it from my side today.